What up, y'all? This is Freeway Rick Ross. You watching the Dr. Greenthumb Show on BREALTV, and this is the Ghetto Bible.
Bang! Let's start the fucking show, eh?
We are with a special edition of the Dr. Greenthumb Show. We're on extra early, but that's all right because, you know, we got a special guest up in here. We got Freeway Rick Ross up in here.
What's up?
West Coast original, legendary, to say the least, man.
It is an honor to have you in the building, brother.
Likewise. Legends, two legends.
Hey.
How you been, man?
Man, I've been good. Learning my way around, you know, finally learning LA again.
Finally settled in, right?
Yeah, a lot has changed, you know, over the years, since I was gone, but I'm getting the hang of it now.
Right. And for y'all that don't know the name Freeway Rick Ross, I mean, you know, it gets confused here and there, but this man is a West Coast legend right here in the hustle game. I mean, he broke a huge story open on, you know, how shit got infiltrated into our neighborhoods via the government and all that shit. And, you know, even his role in it. And it's a fucking crazy story. I'm from LA. I know all the shit, you know, so, you know, to have you here, you know, on the Greenthumb Show, it's
an honor to be
very
here,
cool, man.
You know, I've been waiting.
And, you know, when you did your time, you know, things were a certain way on the street. You know, things it was like fucking the Wild Wild West.
It's changed a lot, you know. The whole community, I mean, just everything is totally different now than it was in the 80s and the 70s. So a little bit to get used to, you know.
Yeah.
Had to be home.
Yeah, I would imagine.
You know, just going out to the fest, you know, when we bumped into each other at this weekend was, you know, the first time I went out to one of those was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, that had to be almost like culture shock because
it was, you know,
20 years ago, those didn't.
Yeah, and they called me up on the stage, my first one, you know, they called me on the stage, asked me to say something. I was like, shit, y'all, they'd have locked all y'all ass up in the 80s.
Yeah, that would have been a mass roundup right there.
Man, they would have loved it. They'd have been out there with machine guns and dogs.
Did you ever think you'd see the day where they would have like events, music events, or just straight up events like dedicated to that?
I never dreamed of that. You know, when I was in prison, it was the furthest thing from my thoughts. You know, I never thought that this was possible, that the government would be changing, or the people, not the government, because the government really ain't changed yet.
They ain't changed shit.
But the people are changing. You know, people are more sensible now. They having common sense. You know, but back in the days, people really didn't have common sense. They just went with whatever the government says. You know, if the government said it was a big crowd, then that's what it was.
Yeah.
If they said it was no crowd, then that's what it was. But now it seems like people are starting to get more sensible, you know, about just the basic necessities that go on in our communities, and not just taking things literally as what the powers that be say it is.
Yeah. There's a lot of information out there readily available.
Yeah, the
internet.
You don't
have to just take the word for it. Yeah.
The internet.
Go find the information, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. You know, you broke open a lot of stories, and a lot of people don't like to speak because, you know, a lot of people are in fear, like that the government's listening, or you know how it happens. Have you ever been scared to like tell your story?
I was. I mean, at one time, not scared to tell my story, but you know, I used to hide too. You know, I didn't want to take pictures, and you know, I want to live in the shadows, and I understand. You know, when you crossing that line, you know, you gotta put precautions on yourself. But I ain't afraid no more, because when you're afraid, you know, they say if you don't live for something, then you'll fall for anything.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we got to stand up right now for our rights, for our people's rights. You know. I'm working with a lady by the name of Bo Money, who's working on making marijuana legal for everybody, and also making it retroactive, where the guys in prison for marijuana should be getting out of prison. You know, while they're in prison.
Yeah.
And
when
the people,
when the laws have changed, why are they still in prison?
Yeah, and the people saying that we're not afraid of marijuana. You know, we don't think that marijuana makes you go crazy, and when you're on marijuana, your brain's not firing. So. Now that the people feel like this, then the government should follow suit, you know. If it's a government ran by the people, for the people. But, you know, a lot of times it's not the case.
Yeah. You know, what's the trip was, I remember in that time when you was on the run, you were on the news every day. They was trying to find you. Like, how long did it take them when they started chasing? How long did it take them to find you? Because I mean, the one thing about you, you were elusive. You weren't flashy. You didn't have all these crazy cars, like on the streets, like showing anybody shit. You were like real low key, like you said, living in the shadows.
Well, you gotta be when you really love your people, you want to be with your people. You have to be in some ways like your people. You can't go around and that's one of the things that I have a problem with the new rap industry right now is that it's like everybody want to show everybody up, I got a bigger car than you, so I'll take your girl.
Yeah.
Take my girl, homie? Why you want to take my girls when all these girls out here? You know what I'm saying? It's too many girls.
It's like a status thing.
It's like, it's a status thing to down you, and if I down you, it helps
up
me.
myself,
So to me, it's like crazy, and I never felt like that, I always wanted from my brother what I wanted for myself, I never wanted to try to outshine everybody.
See, and that's crazy because like that's coming from someone who really lived that life. You lived that life where you had whatever you fucking needed because like, what you were doing and shit. Yet you didn't live like a lot of these dudes be trying to portray, that lifestyle, and that's not how it's really done when you're hustling like that, because that'll get you caught.
But really, in no business, I mean, in nothing that we do, we're not supposed to outshine our fans. I mean, you're a star, in some ways, but at the same time, your fans is just as important as you are, And when you treat people as if they're important, they're gonna like you even more.
They're gonna lift you even more.
1,000. That's real. That's
real. I read, when I was in prison, and when I learned how to read while I was there. I started learning some of the stuff that Tupac did to promote himself, and they said Tupac, whenever he finished his show, he would walk off the stage and go in the audience and start clapping and rooting for everybody else. And I go to a lot of shows now, and artists, they'll perform. As soon as they perform, they walk straight out the club. Shake nobody's hand, talk to nobody.
Out of here.
No networking. It's like, wow, they already a star. And it baffles me.
And they're not really stars.
Not at all. Not at all. They didn't sell 4
delusional.
tickets. Now 4 people came to the show to see them. So it's like.
See, that's lost game right there. A lot of this generation, like lost those components of what the game really is.
Exactly.
I think that's partially to do because, radio pretty much helped perpetuate this image. So now you got these guys saying, oh, well, this is what radio fucks with. I need to make songs like this. And then you got a fucking litany of songs that sound the same and are about the same shit. And it's all, about bragging about what you got. As opposed to like anything with.
And I do a lot of speaking at schools, and I believe that it's jailhouse music. When you're talking about busting your pistol, using drugs, mollies, and all this other stuff. I believe that that's jailhouse music. That's music to eventually send somebody to jail.
There's a theory out there amongst certain people that a lot of the stations, pretty much program this music to inspire these kids to do some of this dumb shit to fill the prisons.
Right, exactly.
The private prisons.
Exactly. And I read that letter as well that was circulating. And
you read the letter too?
I read the letter. I read it as soon as I came home, because I was baffled about why some of the artists who make fun music are no longer able to get on the radio. And then after I read that letter, I could understand why. Because you're not telling people to go out and commit crime. You're not telling them to rob. And just some nonsense.
Because if you remember in the late 80s, there was more positive type of music out there. And then during around 95, 96, it shifted to more influence in that street life, like, being a dope boy, being a gangster, all this shit. as opposed to any of the conscious or fun shit.
Yeah, and then a lot of these guys got college degrees, you know, never been in a gang, you know, not from the block.
Never
you
been
know,
around it.
So it's really was baffling to me just to see how society had changed from being who you say you are to, just fake who you are until you get to where you want to be. You know, I'm like, we don't do no faking. You know, we there or we ain't there. You know, we ain't wearing no hollow chains. You know, gold platinum, gold plated. You know, we ain't doing that, man. You know,
it's 100 or it ain't.
Yeah, it's just 100 or it ain't. This is how I am. You know, take me or leave me. You know, and I believe that once our young people really find out that they special already, you already special. You know, you don't need nobody to tell you that you're special. You was born special. So now all you have to do is find your traits to put you in a position to be who you want to be.
That's what's up.
I got a quick question for you, Rick. How do you feel about the show Snowfall? Because some people say that it's a ripoff of your story.
I took a knee off so far. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to talk to
took a knee. Word up. I'm taking a knee off Snowfall too. That fuck that shit.
You know, it was crazy that you know, John bought one of my books when it first came out, and we were talking to John about directing my movie. I thought that he would be a great fit. You know, being from LA and all.
Absolutely.
And the whole 9 yards. So I thought that he would be a great fit. But then I'm sitting in the office with some of the Weinsteins before the scandal, you know. And he calls in and he said, "Oh, you know, John Singleton is doing a series and it's already budgeted, so our deal is off the table." You know, I'm like, John. So I call John when I walk out and he don't answer the phone. You know, I call him like 3 or 4 days in a row and he never answers the phone.
That's not cool.
I'm like, damn, John know me, and you know, and then at least, you know, if you're gonna do, you know, if you're gonna do a movie in LA and it's gonna be about cocaine, how cocaine got started, and no way you ain't gonna call me and say, man, we're gonna give you a consultant job.
Absolutely.
We wanna know what the street look like,
But take me there.
How do you avoid that?
How do you avoid that, man? So you know, for John to do that, and then we get a call, like they put the commercial out, and my Twitter and Instagram and Facebook goes crazy, where they hashtagging us, also hitting FX and John saying, hey, you rip Rick off. You know, my stuff go crazy, right? And then they changed the commercial. You know, so they trying to protect it, but you know, I'm on my way.
That's crazy,
today
man.
to go talk to a lawyer about
That's crazy how
what kind of
motherfuckers
actions
would
I
just
can take.
jack people's stories like that and not have them involved in it to some degree. You know, that's just crazy, man. That's the fucked up part of the game right now.
Yeah,
but what about the new book? I mean, well, this book's been out for some time.
It's been out like 2 years, man. This is my autobiography. I really, you know, I wrote this book. I was still in prison with a life sentence, and I didn't know if I was ever getting out. And I was sitting there, man, and I was like, what can you do, man, to give back, you know? Because I played a part in the crack epidemic that caused a lot of pain and suffering in our community. And I really did it out of ignorance, not knowing, and you know, just like everybody else, trying to eat.
Yeah.
So while I was sitting there, I was like, man, what can you do to really help other people? You know, how can it benefit other people? And I said, well, what if a young kid who was thinking about getting into the drug business knew from start to finish what was going to happen? Now he could sit down and make a real decision. You know, like, okay, if I get in the drug business, I'm going to make some good money.
But this is what I got to lose.
I'm going to go to prison, too.
Yeah.
And this is about how long I'm going to go to prison for. This is what I'm going to have to put up with. Now he can really make a decision. You know, like when I made my decision, my big homies who put me down, they never told me about prison. You know, they only told me, oh, man, you're going to get the low riders.
All the luxuries.
You can have the girls.
About it, yeah.
So I'm in. This the life I'm in. Count me in. You know, sign me up. Where we sign up at? So when I was sitting there, I said, you know what? Why not tell the true story about what happens in the drug business? Not like, you know, you hear a lot of these rappers talking about they sold 300 kilos, and and then you find out
that's all bullshit.
He was a correctional officer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you was a correctional officer until you was 21, and then you start rapping at 20. How did you ever get up to doing 300 kilos? You don't do 300 kilos your first deal. You know, nobody ever did 300. Their first deal, they go out, they do 300 kilos.
Well, you know, shit has become entertainment for a lot of cats that do it now, you know? So, like, in the early days, that was one of the things, you know, you led the life that you talked about.
Exactly.
I think that because of the shift we were talking about in '96 to you know, promote that style of music, you know, the image thing and the connection between if you're really living that life or not got lost.
Right,
and it's all about entertainment at that point. So you got a lot of the people talking about lives they never lived, you know what I mean? And now it's acceptable. It's crazy because that wasn't an acceptable thing in the game.
No, they'd have threw you off the stage.
Oh yeah, being a fraud, that was never okay.
Yeah,
never.
But you know that's the way of the business now. You know, so it's like entertainment on any form. Yeah.
How did you feel about when you heard about, you know, a rapper that had your name?
Yeah,
How did you first react to that?
I mean, you know, when they first told me, it was like, wow, you know, he named himself after me. So then I wanted to talk to him, you know, like, what was on your mind? You know, what was you thinking about? You know, you knew enough about me, but you don't have the decency and the courtesy to write me a letter.
Get the cosign.
Yeah, and say, you know, man, look, I want to use your name. How you think I should use it? You know, how should this work? You know, how should this play out? So I was a little in my feelings, you know, when I first heard about it. But then, you know, I started to look at some benefits, you know, well, maybe me and him can do something together and it benefit both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know? So then after I had my first conversation with him and he changed his phone, and I was really upset then, you know, like, damn, it's still here. Not only that, he's a liar too, you know. So, you know, it was, you know, it's a mixed emotion. You know, you honored to have somebody that thought enough about you to say, you know, I want to be you. You know, and then it's another one for them not to show respect the way that I felt it should have been showed. So,
Pay homage.
yeah, a little homage, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, Freeway named himself after me, but, you know, I was in Philly a couple days ago. He come by the room, and right now we doing a record together. You know, I'm helping him put a record together
With
for his new album.
Freeway?
Yeah, Freeway.
That's great. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and shout out to him too. You know, that's my man. He's sick too. You know, he need a donor for a kidney, so we gotta wish him well, man.
Yeah, wish many prayers to Freeway, man. You know, we was trying to get him in the box at some point over there in the smoke box. You know what I'm saying? So wish you well, brother, and you know.
So have you heard back from Rick or John since those times?
Neither one. We after the series came out, John's people called and they wanted to have a sit down about me coming on being a consultant to the piece. We talked for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then talks broke down, and that was the last time I heard from him.
How you like the book game?
I love the book game. The book game is phenomenal. Anybody that ain't doing a book that got a fan base, part it. You know, I'm going on like 34,000 books sold. My goal is to do 100,000 independent. Not with Amazon. I don't want to do it with Amazon. I want to do outside of Amazon, independent, off the internet, you know, just out the trunk. Like right now,
Hardcore book.
my Sprinter van is on its way to Miami right now.
So are you doing a lot of book signings these days?
Yeah, that's all I do.
When's your next one?
I'm going to Miami.
Oh, you're
tomorrow.
going to Miami
Yeah, I
tomorrow?
fly to Miami tomorrow. I'll be at the
Art Basel?
Art Basel. Yep. I'll
There
be
you
at
go.
Art Basel.
So if y'all want to, you know, get a book and get it signed by the man,
come holler at me.
come holla. And, you know, I would ask you about some of the stories, but, you know, we want people to read this motherfucker and hear to read the stories firsthand.
And you know what, man?
And they got to tell your story.
It's so much. This book is the book. I ain't just saying it because it's my book.
I'm surprised Ice
The
Cube
book
ain't
is
come
crazy.
to you to do that story with you.
Yeah,
That would be crazy, because I would imagine he could fuck with that.
Well, you know, we talked before about him doing it some years, you know, like 20 years ago. We talked about him doing it, but since I've been home, you know, I guess he done got so big now, you know, You don't even see
I
Cube
think it
no
would
more.
be a great story for him to fucking do.
It would have been. It would have been. You know, even in the early days,
Yeah.
I was hoping that he would have played the role. I thought that he would
That
have
would've
made
been
a great,
enormous.
a great character for
I
him.
think so too. I think he would have
Yes.
pulled that shit off easy.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, give us that.
You know,
Give him a call,
I'm gonna have
Q.
to get in his ear, man. What's cracking, dog?
Hey, the movie it's gonna. I already know that once they find out what's in this book, because what I did when I wrote the book, man, and some people read it, you know, and they was like, well, man, you teaching people how to be better drug dealers. No, what I'm teaching is how to use skills that you can use in anything, but I happen to use them to sell drugs.
Right.
But I found out if you use those same skills, it don't matter what line of work you go into. You know, when I was in prison, I couldn't read or write.
Right.
I was totally illiterate. I had to teach myself how to read and write while I was there. Then I had to learn how to do the law because, you know, I found the issue myself that got me out of prison.
Right.
My lawyer didn't do it. My lawyer told me, oh, save the rest of your money. You don't need it for commissary. You got to do it a long time. So I was there, and it was like I'm in a hopeless situation. So I had to start doing it myself because the person who's supposed to be defending you don't believe in it no more.
Right. Yeah, he lost.
He lost faith, you know.
And maybe the shine from the shit was over because it wasn't in the news anymore.
Exactly.
Like lawyers do.
All of them.
Yeah. all-
Shysters.
Two things: when the money go out and the lights go out.
So do the lawyers.
How are you living now, man? What does Rick do on a everyday, daily basis? Like, how's life?
Well, you know, life has been good, man. I got my family back together. You know, all my brothers. You know, everybody is doing well. You know, we're in the cannabis industry, legal cannabis industry. We're working to get a license here in LA. You know,
Nice.
for the new law with this equal equity program.
Sure.
I don't think that nobody is in a better position.
And it shouldn't be. It should be like whoever can, you know, get up and apply for that. And
Absolutely,
all that
absolutely. A few problems that I have with the way, you know, things are going. You know how they redline the grow areas. So now that the landlords are really going to be in charge again.
yeah, the canopy spaces and all that.
Yeah. I think that's wrong. Which I'm waiting to go talk to a city council about that.
I believe that'll change though.
It should.
Because you got big businesses coming in 5 years. They're going to want more canopy space, and they will get it. So it's probably in their best interest to just let it happen now.
Right, no doubt. So, you know, just to make sure some of the small people, you know, that's one of the things that I really want to do is make sure the small people have an opportunity to own, you know, and be a part of this industry. Because it's so white, you know what I'm saying? You go to the events and it's like 5 or 10 blacks there, you know, and maybe 20 Hispanics. So it's really a white industry that we definitely need to be a part of. You know, we can't let this industry get by us like we've done so many other industries. So
True that, because it's, you know, this is for everybody.
Because the next thing you know, the government has a chokehold on this bitch.
no doubt.
And we never getting
and we
biggest
started
chokehold.
it though. This was ours, you know, when they was locking us up. Where was y'all at when we was going to jail for it?
When there
you
was
know?
taboo in it and shit.
Yeah,
man.
so now that it's legal and you got, you know, all of us in prison for it now, we can't benefit from it, you know, so I don't think so.
Word up, man. Hey, we want to thank you for taking the time to come.
Man, thank
and
y'all for
talk
having me on the
about
show, man.
Us, brother. Hell yeah.
Appreciate
And when
the
you
love.
got the next book rolling out, you got to come see us. And better yet,
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do
when
that.
you get that
Matter
movie
of fact,
deal signed, to tell the story.
All of it. We're
because-
gonna do all of it. We'll come in
You
for
know
the
what I'm
movie. Also, I'm doing some music stuff. I'm working with Brian Kennedy right now. We're gonna do some music stuff. The other book's already done, Riding with Rick, but I can't release it till I do the 100,000 copies.
I hear that.
As soon as we start, matter of fact, when we pick the actor that's gonna play my role, I'll bring him out and we'll come sit down and holler at.
All right, give me a roll in that shit. Hey,
You want to roll?
we want to sell 100,000 of these from my man Freeway Rick Ross. You find them, you buy them. All right.
No doubt. Also, you can go to my website, freewayrickyross.com. You can hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Freeway Ricky, Facebook Freeway Rick Ross. Holla at your boy. Peace.
Word up. This has been another BREALTV presentation. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the Dr. Greenthumb Show coming up at 4 p.m. Peace.
Hits from the bomb.